At number 10 we have Frisina in the Austrian caves. If the show Planet Earth has taught me anything, it's that caves are dark and beautiful ecosystems that are teeming with life. And in this video there's a shot of some of that life that seems to be something I've never seen before. In this video Frisina is on a little hiking trip in Austria. She's with a whole group, so it seems like she should be pretty safe. Unless you're the one person on the tour who they forget and then you get stuck in the cave and then you're like on the side of a mountain for the rest of your life getting attacked by bears. That could happen. Well, this mountain tour leads to a cave and then they start to check it out. Caves are really one of the marvels of the world. Just then she's surprised by some sort of creature.
There's someone climbing up the wall. It's an iceman. It's a ghost. Jesus, what is that? Do you see that? Oh my God.
What the hell is that thing? It looks like some sort of lizard man working its way up the wall with ease. It's really far away, so it's super hard to tell what this thing is or how big it is, but it's some sort of beast man living in the cave, climbing up the walls. That's what it looks like. I'm gonna say just let this thing be and don't bother checking it out.
Number 9. Lascaux Cave Murals. These Paleolithic drawings are from 17,000 BC. Haunting to look at, to think that humans could draw this well that many moons ago. And I'm still over here drawing suns in the corner of my work. Come on, I gotta step it up. The Lascaux Cave Murals are now a World Heritage Site. In the 40s, you could visit the cave yourself, but thanks to carbon dioxide levels from visitors and your breath, it was closed later in 1963. Yet the art was literally fading away with every breath that we took. Not only is this one of the oldest pieces of art ever, but these paintings resemble the origin of spirituality. Markings in caves like this from ages ago come long before many religious books. Yet a lot of paintings tend to have demons in them, like biblical demons. Perhaps these drawings were inspired from hallucinations, I mean hopefully, but many believe it's the first account of a demon interacting with a human being on our planet. Yeah, how lovely is that? And in turn, thousands of years ago, we had to record what happened, with the only thing we had, which was, evidently, cave art. Number 8. Romanelli Cave Art. Located in Italy, this was actually discovered just over 100 years ago, so it's actually quite recent. We love new, old art. Hiding this entire time on Italy's southeast coast, only 7 meters above the Adriatic Sea, which explains why nobody ever found it this entire time. Well, luckily Mother Nature has our back. She's sending us clues. There's actually a collapse that happened inside of the cave, which created, well, more difficulties in the search in the long run, but it actually helped. Through excavation of the cave, researchers have found deposits of animal bones, human bones, and of course, art. What a loaded discovery. You got a little bit of everything. It's a lot of loot. They found what's called a bovid, which is some geometric patterns which are made using moon milk. It's the soft white material found in limestone, and it seems to be a bird, I guess, which is pretty amazing considering how few of these we see in the ancient art world. This art is great, but next to bones, it sounds like this wasn't really a passion project. It sounds like some poor soul was stuck in that cave and had to make a bird to avoid going insane. Animal bones suggest they had something to eat along the way, so I'm just saying, they had time to create this masterpiece. Also, what a horrible scenario. Number 7. Lascaux. Lascaux is a complex of caves and different rock shelters located in northwestern Somalia. These caves and shelters contain some of the earliest known art pieces in the Horn of Africa, which is amazing considering the history of humans and Africa in general and how far back we go. That's where it all began, and these prehistoric cave paintings show cows in ceremonial robes. And there's also some humans, there's also some domesticated dogs, and of course, since it's Africa, a giraffe is also hanging in. Whatever's going on, it's beautiful, and I want to be part of it. I have FOMO. The paintings are extremely well preserved, they're beautiful. Again, I just want to know what's going on, if I'm being honest. Looks like a good time here, or a really bad time. Never know. Number 6. Forbidden Friends. Lascaux cave paintings date back to some, 17,000 years ago, and a lot of the art seen on the walls of the cave is art that depicts animals. There's about 900 of them. This thing is fully loaded. Over 600 are pretty identifiable. In it we see cattle, bison, some wild cats, bears, birds, but no reindeer. Which is odd. This is where the mystery comes into play. What happened here? Did they just forget about this one specific animal out of 900, although they ate reindeer meat daily? It took a long time to realize, but our best guess now is that these works of art, these animals, are ones they never caught. Yeah, the forbidden Pokemon, the ones they didn't catch at all. Animals they would dream about, if anything. They could never hunt or catch them because, well, especially at this time, they were way too fast, too large, and too strong. Plus, this is a time before certain weapons or tools were ever available. Yeah, more than fair. I would much rather draw a bison than have to tackle one. We're good. Number 5. The Cave of El Castillo, aka the Cave of the Castle. This is a Stone Age rock shelter located in Spain, and it holds some of the oldest cave paintings that we have ever found period. The most notable of all the art found here is referred to as the Gallery of Hands, which is a panel of abstract signs and hand stencil rock art that has been dated to around 40,000 years ago. So again, so old. This cave holds over 100 different images, such as several rock engravings of deer, again, animals, as well as other animals that would have been seen in the area like bison, goats, horses, aurochs, which are now an extinct species. There are even images found in this cave of dogs, which is extremely rare in prehistoric cave art. We love dogs. In Egypt they had cats, over here we have dogs. We're loving them. We're loving them both sides. Right now it's debated whether it was Neanderthals that were responsible for this art or if it was Homo sapiens after all this. And to be honest, it can go either way. There's a fine line, and art is just the only divider of that line. Number 4, Uber. As a lanky guy such as myself, this next work of art, this hits close to home for sure. Located in the Kakadu National Park, Northern Australia, this area was quite ideal when it came to shelter. The large overhanging rocks, I mean, if you're okay with giant spiders, you're at least staying dry every day. Early humans chose the specific spots for their art, and it totally makes sense. Some of the art here is said to be 20,000 years old, featuring many different animals, like catfish, turtles, possum, wallabies, Tasmanian tigers. Oh my, this thing was loaded. Along with the extensive amount of rock art that can be found here, there's also art that was found painted on skeletons of animals in the area as well, which sure, on paper sounds beautiful and all, but now that we're way past it, we can look back and say, hey, I didn't want to see that. Seeing this unfold in real time would be quite stressful. Just a dude painting a fresh pile of bones, I'd be like, hey, really good stuff, super early, but I'm gonna go throw up. Love it, we love art. Number 3, Goremas Cave. Neanderthal rock engravings dating back to 37,000 years ago. Let's do it. Found in Goremas Cave, Gibraltar, the biggest question here as far as cave art goes, did Neanderthals do this or was this modern man? That's always the question. Who done it? The thing with art is that it's so subjective. Are these scratches art? Is this animal art? Is this even an animal to begin with? What is this? Is it a circle with what is it? In total, there's 8 tiny rock engravings found. They were discovered by a team of scientists back in July 2012. They were tucked away on a ledge in the far back part of the cave, so they were hiding. Were these etched into the walls before the time of modern man? So far, we're leaning towards Neanderthal. Again, being one of the earliest types of art in the world, yeah, it's plausible. This was definitely a Neanderthal. It feels so bad because the art isn't that good, so they're like, I don't know if they did it. It's like, I think they did. I think they knew quite a bit. They knew how to hunt mammoths. I can't do that. None of us can do it in this building, definitely. Number 2, ruined cave art. This painting is the oldest known painting in India, which is a feat in itself, and it was found on the walls of Saturn Devouring Cave. It was originally believed that this painting was first created in the 1st century BCE. The painting depicts things like human figures, fish, elephants, birds, different floral patterns, recognizable things. The haunting part here is that another artist ended up drawing over the original ancient artwork, which, I mean, on one hand, if you did that today, if you spray painted over somebody's art outside, that's bad juju. That's like the worst of the worst. You're upsetting a lot of people, and you're for sure in danger. Imagine that in the ancient form. That takes so much time and effort to ruin somebody's work. These paintings have been severely vandalized and a lot of the areas are permanently now in bad shape. Yeah, leave ancient art alone. Do you want to get cursed? This is definitely how you get cursed. Don't touch it. Look, don't touch. Number 1, Altamira Cave. And last but not least, we're heading over to Spain for our last painting on today's list. This one has us scratching our heads still because obviously it's quite old. This is prehistoric art. This is the oldest of the oldest. This time we have charcoal drawings and polychrome paintings that show some contemporary fauna and human, again, hands. The fascinating part here is that these are prehistoric. They're the first European cave paintings with a prehistoric origin. That is massive. It was thought for a long time that prehistoric humans weren't capable of abstract thought. Yet, here we are. On YouTube, I'm like, we're getting better. Handprints, yet again, that's for sure abstract. It's said the earliest of these paintings here can date back to the Upper Paleolithic period, which is 36,000 years ago. That's quite old.
Starting off at our number 10 spot, we have this tomb painting. This painting is one of the oldest known Japanese paintings, and it comes to us from a tomb which is both incredibly cool and terrifying. This tomb is called the Takamatsuzuka tomb, which translates to something along the lines of the tall pine tree ancient burial mound. This tomb was thought to have been built sometime between the end of the 7th century and the beginning of the 8th century, but it wasn't discovered until the 1960s when a local farmer accidentally stumbled upon it. You might be wondering why I'm talking so much about this tomb when you came here for paintings, but it's because without the tomb there are no paintings. This painting is referred to as the Beautiful Women and is actually painted on the inside of the tomb walls. I'm not gonna lie, while it would be incredibly hard not to open a newfound mysterious tomb, it's just a risk I wouldn't personally take. Who knows what you'd be releasing into the world? This tomb is facing quick deterioration, and the Cultural Affairs Agency of Japan is looking into breaking down the walls of the tomb to reconstruct them again in a place where the walls can be free from further damage and mold. This is proving to be a more difficult task than expected though, and I can't help but feel like maybe this tomb doesn't want to be moved.
At number 9 we have the Risa Tunnels creature. So during World War II, the Germans wanted to build some sort of tunnels in the Owl Mountains, all the way over in Poland. Why did they want to do this? Well, we have no idea. Hitler was into all sorts of weird stuff. He had troops out there looking for magical artifacts. I guess if he won the war, he wanted to be a part-time warlock. Well, some people not so long ago wanted to go check out these tunnels to see what was going on in them, and they were in for a bit of a shock. This group of dudes was walking through when they saw this. Here's another man just running around in caves, I guess. Is there a whole world of things underneath us that we don't know about? That thing did look kinda like a humanoid. It looks like it was running around on 2 legs, but obviously it was moving very fast because by the time they turned the corner to look at it, it was gone. At number 8 we have Satan's Cave. Well, if you're a kid growing up in Minneapolis, I can imagine you get bored really quick, so finding a cave to walk around in probably sounds better than smoking weed in the park with all your friends and complaining about your mom. Now this group of kids went into some caves underneath Minneapolis in search of what's called Satan's Cave. They end up walking through what kind of looks like a sewer with a bunch of graffiti on the walls and some strange demonic faces that have been carved all over the place. Now this is super strange, but they want to get to Satan's Cave, so they continue past the demonic Art Deco. Eventually they get to a tunnel that heads straight down so far you can't see the bottom of it. This could be what they were looking for, but naturally they were like, screw this, and decide to turn back and exit the cave. Probably a smart move. At number 7 we have Train Tunnel Surprise. So what's a tunnel and what's a cave? It's kind of like a tomato-tomato situation. They're both holes in the ground where everything is dark and spooky. So I'm probably gonna throw a few tunnels on this list, and I don't care what you guys say because who cares? It's a tunnel or a cave, it doesn't matter. Well, a bunch of teens thought it would be a good idea to try and walk through a train tunnel in the middle of the night. These tunnels are right next to Odell Lake in Oregon, and usually there's large transport trains moving through them. Well, guess what happened while they were crossing through? A train showed up. Yeah, who would have thought of that? A train coming along train tracks? Well, these kids had to jump off the tracks and press themselves against the walls while standing in some gross swamp water so the train didn't run them over. Luckily, nobody was hurt. Alright guys, at number 6 we have Lost. Okay, getting lost in a cave is one thing. You could probably last for at least a few days until people found you. But getting lost in a cave underwater while you're free diving, you have minutes before your air runs out. Well, Kodiak Moraski was doing some sport fishing while free diving. He was chasing down a little lobster and then got a little too far into a cave. This got him all turned around and he couldn't find his way out. He started to panic, but luckily he was able to find which way he came in. I guess the scary encounter in this cave was almost drowning to death.
You're fine, just breathe off the rig, Tina.
I gotta get some.
Put the regulator in your mouth.
Wow, I don't know what's going on.
At number 5 we have Nick in the Caves. Okay, this one has got a lot going on. This starts with a Russian YouTuber named Nick. He's got a channel where he explores creepy caves and places like that. On one episode, he decides to explore some old Russian caves with some friends. While exploring, he gets into a section that is so tight he has to take his backpack off and leave it behind. And then he gets separated from his friends. He explores a bit without his stuff and then comes to some strange sections. There's a part with a jug, it's set up to catch water, but it's like, who is that for? This is in a cave in the middle of nowhere. Eventually he's freaked out and he heads back the way he came. He gets back to his backpack and he sees that it's been opened and his stuff is scattered everywhere. Who or what did this. While he's collecting his things, you can see a pair of eyes in the reflection of the camera. He doesn't see this until he reviews the footage, but you can see these dark eyes peering at him through the darkness. It's very creepy. My hair is standing up just talking about it. At number 4, we have big ol' spider. Alright, this one is simple. Michael Krosberg was in a cave in Laos and then he found a giant spider. He said it was as big as a pizza. That's super gross. This thing is so big it looks like it could eat a pug. Honestly, to be number 4 on the list, that's all you need. You don't need to be something supernatural or like some demon from another dimension. It just needs to be a super gross spider because I think they're disgusting and I don't want anything to do with them. That's how you get number 4 on this list. At number 3, we have the Cave of Screaming Terror. Okay, right off the bat, you call a place the Cave of Screaming Terror, and I'm not going to visit. And I don't think anyone in their right mind would think this is a fun place to check out. While you're at it, why don't you go check out the House of the Soul Suckers, or the Forest of Getting Kicked in the Nuts? Well, this one dude went for a swim in the cave because most of the cave is submerged, so if you're gonna go inside, you have to swim. And he doesn't even bring a boat to go in. He's just straight up swimming in it. That's asking for some cave creature to pull you down and rip your insides out. The dude swimming was Donnell Buckley, and while he was going for his nice little float through the cave, he started to hear this. I don't know if that's a bird or whatever that could be, but whatever it is, Donnell didn't want to figure out where it was coming from, and he beelined it out of there. Good idea. At number 2, we have MJ in the Cave. The ghost of Michael Jackson was attacking people in a cave and it was all caught on camera. Nah, I'm just lying to you guys, because that's fun for me. We're not talking about the famous pop star Michael Jackson. We're talking about the YouTuber Mark Johnson, of course. He was exploring the Cave of the Winds in Colorado when several paranormal encounters happened. First, we have this weird noise that kinda sounds like a ghost farting or dropping a massive turd.
Probably kick on the spirit box here in a minute and head over.
Do you think you still have to crap in the afterlife? Do you believe in ghost poops? Please, let us know your thoughts in the comments. It's not long after this that we see another paranormal encounter. An orb! I don't know much about ghosts because I don't spend my time watching ghost hunters. I've got better things to do, like literally anything else. But those orbs are supposed to be ghosts walking around doing like ghost stuff, like slamming doors and watching you sleep. Okay, you guys, we're on to number 1 now. And the number 1 spot on our list goes to an account from a park-wearing dog. Oh, he's so cute. You guys have probably seen this dog all over the internet. His name is Tret, he's a pit bull, and he can climb trees and do all sorts of cool stunts. Well, one day his owner was taking this good old boy out for a walk when he came across an old well. A well is basically a cave, it's just like sticking in a different direction. You guys know, wells are still in the theme of caves, especially if they're old and abandoned. Tret's owner hears something weird coming out of the well, so he decides to take a cool little video, and then we see this happen.
В колодце что-то шипит. Может, ужик.
What the hell is that? It definitely doesn't look like something that should be hanging out in a forest. It looks like something that came out of the gates of hell.
Kicking off the list at number 10, Cueva de Menos. Kicking off this list, we're gonna head to Patagonia, the southern part of Argentina, and it holds some pretty haunting pieces of art from 13,000 years ago. It's also referred to as the Cave of Hands, which can either be really beautiful or absolutely terrifying. Either way you look at it, depends. I don't know, a pile of hands, for some reason I don't feel at ease looking at this. Whoever got the hands on the top part, hats off to you, that's pure commitment right there. The bone pipes that were used to spray the paint at the wall, well, those bone fragments were aged to around 9,000 to 13,000 years ago. There's something primal about drawing your hands. Like, I remember doing this exact project in grade 3. Hands are beautiful. Everyone's got unique, different shaped hands. I would do this, and then I write my name Taylor right in the middle, but it was actually Taylor, a chicken scratch. I still can, right?
In our number 9 spot today, we have the cave painting. This painting is the oldest known painting in India, and it was found on the walls and ceiling of a cave. It was originally believed that this painting was first created in the 1st century BCE, and while there isn't any religious iconography in the paintings, there are human figures, fish, elephants, birds, and different floral patterns. It is said that another artist ended up drawing over the original, which is an incredible shape shame and could have released some very angry, vengeful energy on the world if the original artist is still somewhere out there watching. To make matters even worse, these paintings have been severely vandalized and a lot of the areas are in quite bad shape. There's something about things that are this old that makes me feel like they should just not be messed with at all. Not only because it's rude, but also because you never know who's watching. In our number 8 spot today we have Dante and Virgil in Hell. This terrifying work of art was created in 1850 and is currently on display in Paris. This painting is depicting a scene from Dante's Divine Comedy, which is basically about Dante being taken on a journey through hell, with Virgil showing him the way. The painting is depicting a certain scene where Dante and Virgil are witnessing two damned souls intertwined in eternal combat. One of the souls was believed to be a heretic, which is how he landed in the underworld, and the other soul, who's biting his neck, was thought to be a man who falsely claimed another man's inheritance, which certainly is not a good thing to do. The painting also features some sort of terrifying creature flying in the background, as well as a lot more damned souls fighting in the fiery pits. This whole painting truly is both a stunning piece of art as well as an absolute nightmare. In our number 7 spot today we have the Death of Marat. The Death of Marat is a painting from 1793 by Jacques-Louis David, and it depicts the demise of French revolutionary leader Jean-Paul Marat. The painting shows Jean-Paul lying dead in his bathtub on July 13th, 1793, after Charlotte Corday took his life. The painting is regarded as one of the most important and famous images of the French Revolution. Charlotte snuck in to see Jean-Paul by using a note which promised to share details of a counter-revolutionary ring. Jean-Paul suffered from a skin condition which left him in the bathtub often, and it became a place where he usually worked. Charlotte stabbed Jean-Paul in the bathtub, but she did not attempt to run away and was later tried and executed for her actions. The painting shows Jean-Paul holding a note, which is of course written in French, but translates to, "Given that I am unhappy, I have a right to ask for your help," which is an incredibly eerie message. In our number 6 spot today we have Saturn Devouring His Son. This absolute nightmare fuel of a painting comes to us from around 1823 and is a depiction of one of the most famous stories in Greek mythology. This is the myth of Cronus, whose name was Romanized as Saturn, and how he feared being overthrown by his children, so instead of going to therapy to deal with whatever he had going on, he just ate them all. It is said that this painting may have been inspired by another artist's earlier version, and that one, while also haunting and beautiful, just doesn't hold the same absolutely horrific qualities as this one does. The first painting is a bit brighter and more of a conventional depiction, while the one I'm talking about today just gives off pure psychotic energy. This painting shows Saturn eating his child with the head and one arm already consumed. The brightest parts of this painting are the flesh, the blood, and Saturn's large, bulging eyes. This painting is of course an amazing piece of art, but I think we can all agree it is absolutely terrifying as well. In our number 5 spot today we have the Nightmare. The Nightmare was created in 1781, and there's a lot going on in this one. The painting shows a woman who is fast asleep with her arms thrown out below her, which is all fine and well, but there is also some sort of demon incubus sitting on her chest, which is absolutely weird and not okay. The painting is said to display a woman dreaming and also the nightmare she is having, which is such an eerie description. There are red velvet curtains hanging in the back with a creepy horse's head poking out of them, which is also said to lend into the nightmare. The colors represent so much of what is going on in this painting, with the sleeping woman being brightly colored and the rest of the painting being much darker in contrast. Because of what this painting really is getting at, with the addition of the incubus, the painting has often been criticized as being too scandalous. In our number 4 spot today we have the Guillotined Heads. Well, it really is all in the name with this one. This painting comes to us from 1814 and is showing us a pretty clear image of death and decay. The guillotine is definitely one of the scariest inventions from our past, and this painting does not put it in any better of a light. The painting shows 2 decapitated heads, the one on the left being that of a female with her eyes closed and her skin pale white. The head of the right is a male's, and things get a lot more gruesome with him. You can see the jagged marks on the skin of the neck where you can really just get a sense for how harsh this type of punishment really was. With both his mouth and eyes open, the artist was able to capture the bone-chilling, lifeless expression on his face. Apparently the artist would really keep guillotined body parts so that he would be able to paint them with an accurate likeness, which is both incredible dedication and very, very creepy. I wonder if we are looking at the real face of someone who suffered this horrible punishment. In our number 3 spot today, we have the Judgment of Cambyses. This painting was created in 1498 and 1499, and it depicts a pretty gruesome scene. It is one of very few paintings from the artist that doesn't depict some sort of religious theme, which is interesting considering the fact that he went so far off the religious track with this one. The painting is showing the arrest and subsequent gruesome flaying of a corrupt judge surrounded by a crowd of people. This piece was actually commissioned by municipal authorities as a piece to be hung in the executive of the city's room in the town hall. I'm not sure what is scarier, this painting in general or the fact that someone commissioned such a horrifying scene. Either way, this painting is definitely best viewed from afar. In our number 2 spot today, we have the Massacre of the Innocents. This painting is basically exactly as the title would suggest, unfortunately. This painting is actually 2 separate paintings which were created in the early 1600s. They're depicting a scene from the biblical Massacre of the Innocents of Bethlehem as related to the Gospel of Matthew 2:13-18. This story sees Herod the Great, king of Judea, ordering the execution of all male children 2 years old or younger in the vicinity of Bethlehem. Since this painting is showing that, it is an absolutely horrifying scene with many helpless individuals being, well, massacred. The first of the 2 paintings actually ended up being lost for quite some time, but was luckily later rediscovered and now resides in the Art Gallery of Ontario. We've seen a lot of creepy paintings today, but in my personal opinion, this one might take the cake in being absolutely bone-chilling to look at. In our number 1 spot today, we have the Anguished Man. This is a painting that holds many secrets, the first 2 being when and who created it. This painting comes from an unknown source and is absolutely eerie. It depicts exactly what the name would suggest, a man looking like he is in great pain and suffering. The painting is apparently made of a mix of paint and blood, and it is said that the creator ended up taking his own life after making it. Because of the unknown origins and this little tale that goes along with it, the painting already gives off some extremely eerie energy, but if that wasn't enough, the man who currently owns the painting claims that it is haunted. He even uploads YouTube videos of the strange happenings around the painting, and it is said that sometimes whispers can be heard coming from it. Whatever is going on with that painting, it sure can't be good.